Good morning, sweethearts. How you doing? Happy Monday or Moon Day. Energies are intense and yet very, very, very magical, very transforming. And, you know, I've really been encouraging everybody to reach out because these are intense times. Good morning, Richard. How you doing? Good morning, Jamie. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. Corrine. I love you guys. And yesterday I was on an awful lot of guidance calls for hours with some, and judgment is a big thing in the air right now. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Brat. And judgment against self, especially. So it's okay that I cuss. It's okay that I fell back down, and I accidentally went off on somebody, and these are questions that are going through everybody's minds, and the feelings and the confusion and this, that, and the other that is occurring with this shift of from this light infusion energies on the 22nd. Now, sweethearts, don't get so caught up in ascension and awakening and a spiritual life that you forget what you're here to do. You're here to live. Not live by my standards, not live by some guru, not live by some galactic commander, not to live by the neighbors, not live by your parents' ideologies. You're here to live for you. First and foremost, that is your mission, that is your purpose. You can chase happiness, sweethearts. You can chase it and chase it and chase it. You can examine yourself. You can change yourself. You can evolve yourself. You can do everything that you're supposed to do according to the outside world, according to every spiritual teacher, according to your mind, your ego, your thoughts, your feelings. Whatever the outside world dictates and whatever the inside world dictates. And you still will be chasing happiness. You can become aware of anything and everything, sweethearts. Seriously. But it ain't going to make you a better person if you're still judging yourself. If you're still beating yourself up because you feel like you've done something wrong because some guru, some spiritual teacher, some spiritual group, some employer, this, that, or the other told you. And until you can look in the mirror and look at every being outside of you and not see judgment, you're always going to be chasing your own happiness. Because truly, you're only judging yourself. And this gal, two different gals I was working with yesterday and last night. And I did a video 2 days ago about this same thing. Self-judgment is very, very high right now. And sweet ones, everything is okay. So you went out and got drunk last night. It's okay. So you went out and had a one-night stand last night. It's okay, because your feelings are telling you, are showing you, are allowing you to become aware of that experience, that behavior didn't feel good. Astral, I wish. What? The drunk or the one night stand? I'm just kidding you. I'm just teasing you, sweethearts. It's okay if you explode, or if you cry, or if somebody said something that hurt you. The whole point of your spiritual journey, sweethearts, is to learn how to feel again, rather than react from emotions, rather than have the outside world dictate your emotions. And yes, there's many of us in the spiritual communities that speak of what is going on, what is occurring. And, I sit there and talk about the etheric side of things, how it's being done in the etheric side of things, or when it's done, what is occurring, da-da-da-da-da. But my reality, I live in a timeline of 2022. The physical linear time dictates it's 2018. And so some of you aren't going to grasp what I grasp. Somebody else might live in a timeline frequency of 2030. Some might live in a timeline frequency right now of 2008, of 1996. Depending on what energetic frequency they are clearing within themselves. Depending on what is triggered from the outside world. The outside world is a tool. And it's a tool for yourself to come into a frequency space of happiness so you're not chasing it. Happiness is a duality mindset. And that's why you're always chasing it. Because you're always judging yourself against being happy or not being happy. And our whole purpose of living is to live. It's not to dwell. It's not to exist. We've been in a subliminal mind programming that we are now coming out of. We dwell in the past. We exist in the past, or we live in Tomorrowland. The human aspect of us is always worrying, stressing, this, that, and the other. And the emotional, mental aspect of us is always either living in the future or mostly living in the past. The emotional aspect of us lives in the past. And the mental aspect lives in the future, trying to bring the past to the future. Because the mental and emotional go hand in hand. And so, everything that shows us in our daily lives that we are not aware of, we have not acknowledged, we have not come into the understanding of our own self, is the past presenting itself so we can change it. And you're chasing happiness at the same time you're chasing sadness. Sadness from the past. Because to the human, the past was, even though it was hard, and the school of hard knocks, if you will, you still long for that past, for those days, because it seemed more peaceful. It only seems more peaceful because you've buried the emotions. It only seems more peaceful because back then, there wasn't the harmonic frequency changes there is now. It only seems more peaceful, sweethearts, is because back then, there wasn't 3.5 million souls awakened out of the subliminal programming. Today, there is. In this moment right now. And so yes, it's easy to sit there and be mad and to be angry that you've been enslaved, that you're coming into the awareness of all the corruption and everything else. But you're still going to be chasing happiness, and you're still going to be chasing sadness as long as you sit there and you allow it to dictate your emotions, to dictate your life. Good morning, sweethearts. I love you guys. And this is so prevalent right now. You know how many people are saying they're alone? They have nobody. But yet they come on social media and they have all of us that reach out to them. But you don't know me. Well, yes, we do. Not because of an ascended master status, not because of a spiritual status, not because of a frequency status, but all that plays into it too. But yes, we do know you. Oh, sure, we might not know the physical aspect of you. We might not know anything other than the physical face and your energy that we can read and the name you have on Facebook. But sweethearts, I'll tell you this, and yeah, I am going to tell you. I'm going to take the spiritual completely out of it. Yeah, I am going to tell you, and I cannot interfere with your free will, but I'm going to give you my input right now. Yeah, we do know you. Because there ain't any one of the 7.8 billion souls on this planet right now that has not suffered. That has not experienced loss, homelessness, emotional turmoil, grief, sorrow, sadness, betrayal, abandonment, rejection, denial, loneliness. Not one of us. We have all experienced, so yeah, we know each other. No, we're not strangers to each other. Because you know what? You want to line every single one of us up, and I don't care if they're black, if they are Mexican, if they are Muslim. It doesn't matter. You can line every single one of us up right next to each other and go through the line and listen to each other's stories. And you want to know what the common denominator are? Everything I just listed. Because our life has been one of suffering. And the only way to stop suffering is to stop chasing sadness and to stop chasing happiness. And to you, be true to your heart. Yes, there's struggles. And yes, it's easy to sit there and get caught up in a spiritual life or a thug life or this, that, and the other, whatever label you want to give it. But the only purpose you have here, because it is your spiritual mission, it is your galactic mission, it is whatever label you have to give it. Yes, there's an ascension cycle going on. Yes, there's an awakening going on. And all of that is tools to get you to stop existing and to live, to come alive. So you want to smoke a joint, smoke it, sweet ones, and stop judging yourself. You want to have a beer? Fine, have a beer. Have two. But use responsibility of your own self. You know that if you're having 8 or 10 beers that you're going to get drunk and you're no longer in control of yourself. You don't need the outside world, doctors, NA, or anything else to tell you that. Know thyself. Be responsible for self. And stop judging self and judging all other aspects of self. Because yes, we do know each other. There are no strangers. Yes, there's people that you don't resonate with. Yes, there's this, that, and the other. But you all have walked through the fires of hell. There ain't one of us who hasn't. And yeah, there's some of us that choose to keep walking through those fires of hell. And there's some of us that choose to stop walking through the fires of hell. But why does it make it wrong? Why does it make one right or one wrong? So yes, you judge somebody else, you're judging yourself. But when you judge yourself, you're judging all others. So it don't matter if you judge everybody else. What matters and what everybody else that you're judging is trying to show you, so you're being too damn hard on yourself. You're the one who keeps you limited. You're the one who keeps you in a box. It's your thoughts. It's your mind. And yes, that's life. Your battle in life is always going to be your thoughts. You don't need spirituality to tell you that. Yes, it's helping you see the underlying issues of it, the underlying behavioral signatures of it. Stop being so hard on yourself, sweethearts. Enjoy life. Yes, you're struggling right now. Well, why are you struggling? That's what you need to figure out. And that struggle is directly tied into an emotional belief, an emotional energetic imprint, whatever it may be. You know, some don't need spirituality to figure this shit out. For many others of us, all's it has been, besides a learning tool, was so we didn't feel alone anymore. So it don't matter if you're in Australia, or if you're in Nigeria, or if you're in Timbuktu, or if you're in Dallas, Texas, or if you're in the middle of nowhere, like I am. The internet has provided this. Because yes, we knew it was coming, whether our human knew it or not. We knew this time was coming. And it don't matter if you're the 7+ billion souls that are unawakened, that are still suffering and chasing everything, or you're part of the less than 3.5 million souls that are awakened on the journey. We're all one and the same. We all struggle, you know. And for those on the spiritual journey that are awakening, the greatest disservice we're doing to each other and to ourselves is when we sit there and we judge those who have chosen not to awaken, because now they're evil, now they're this, or now they're that, or they're not working hard enough, they're not striving hard enough, they're not doing the light grind enough, they're not this, they're not that. Who cares? Why can't we just love each other and accept each other? When your vessel, when your consciousness is ready to quit eating meat, it will. When your consciousness is ready to understand that it don't matter if you're vegan, if you're bisexual, if you're this, that, or the other. When your consciousness is ready to understand that it don't matter if you eat meat, that it doesn't matter if you do this, it doesn't matter if you do that. Because in the end and in the beginning, it's all light anyways. And the light doesn't have veganism. It doesn't have heterosexualism. It doesn't have any of those judgments, those labels, descriptions. It doesn't matter, guys. What matters is if you yourself know in every given breath, every given minute, that you are evolving yourself, that you are returning yourself back to a space of not chasing sadness and not chasing happiness. And that you are happy and you are joyful and you are blissful with whatever's going on. Yes, we have challenging times. But that struggle doesn't have to keep us limited. That struggle doesn't have to keep us as a victim. That struggle doesn't have to sit there and keep us projecting hatred and racism and prejudice and hurt and anger and this, that, and the other out at people. That's mastery. So you can take away every label you want to take away. You can take away every being out of your presence. But until you learn to love yourself and like yourself, you can be alone with nobody around you or standing in the middle of 7.8 billion people, and you're still going to be in the same space. It don't matter. You're still going to be lonely if you're lonely. You're still going to be angry if you're angry. It's nobody else that's making you angry. It's yourself. And when you can learn to know yourself in every way, but know yourself where you're chasing sadness or chasing happiness, where you're living in the past because you think it's more peaceful, or it was more comfortable, it was more familiar. Life isn't supposed to be comfortable or familiar, guys. We're here to live, not exist. And as long as we're so caught up in this, that, and the other, we're not living. Whether it's spirituality, whether it is lack of money, whether it is feeling unloved, whatever it may be. In every given moment, we're supported. Whether that means you have to come on Facebook and you say, look, people, I feel really alone right now. Is there somebody that's willing to talk to me, even if it's a stranger? And allow your feelings. You're going to know if this so-called stranger that's messaging you is really interested in just being there and being your friend, or is trying to pick you up for a date. I mean, come on now. At some point in time, common sense has to come in to spirituality, guys. That's the whole purpose of merging your vessel with your consciousness. It's the whole purpose of raising your consciousness. So guys, don't be so hard on yourself. Learn to live and enjoy the moment. Live right now. Yes, right now is dictating this, and this to you. Yes, for myself, this moment is dictating I have no financial currency. Yes, this moment right now is dictating to me that I have no vehicle. Yes, this moment is dictating to me that I am absolutely alone in the middle of nowhere. But is that going to control my day? Is that going to stop me from reaching out and saying, hey, I'm here if somebody needs a shoulder? Because I've been there. The loneliness doesn't bother me like it used to, because I had to face the loneliness. I understand fully why I created this, so I could learn to fully love myself, to look at myself at what I didn't like. I get it, but it doesn't dictate my emotions, guys. Yes, this is what the physical world presents. Yes, I'm aware and know the tools on how to transmute it and to transform it. But there's many that don't. But until you can sit there and pretend you know all you know, all you know, all you want. But until your consciousness comes to the inner standing, knowing words of wisdom and living words of wisdom are two very different things. And the greatest wisdom that will ever exist, truly, is when you learn to stop chasing sadness and you stop learning and you learn to no longer chase happiness. And you learn to accept yourself in every way. The greatest issue of humankind is judgment. And for thousands of years, we've all thought that judgment was outside of us and that judgment is inside of us. So, you know what? If you're judging someone as a false light worker, if you're judging somebody because their house isn't clean or not as clean as you prefer it, if you're judging somebody because they're not working hard or they're not doing enough for their mission or they're not doing this or they're not doing that, take a look in the mirror and figure out where you're unhappy with yourself. Because truly, we are not strangers. We're all very, very familiar. Because we all experience the same thing in one way or another, and we all have. I don't care if it's sexual abuse or something. It's been in one way or another prevalent in our families. Whether it's been us in this lifetime or an uncle or an aunt or somebody from a past generation, it doesn't matter. We've all been there, guys. And it's all a part of us. And we have to make peace with it. Because otherwise, we're not doing this ourselves or the world a favor. We're just creating more judgment, disguising it as a transmission, disguising it as wisdom, disguising it as this. You don't need anything but to really, truly just live and be. Allow yourself to be happy instead of chasing it. Allow yourself to feel the sadness, the pain, the anger, the hurt, just not to emotionally react on it. The only judgment that exists is our own. And a lot of times it's not recognizable until you see it outside of yourself. And truly, mercy is forgiveness. And there's the cliche that says, it's not them that you have to forgive, it's yourself. And there's a lot of truth in that. That is pure wisdom. But to the human aspect, you don't know anything but judgment. And that is why you exist. So if you want to come alive and you want to live, accept what you're doing. Accept it and be okay with it. So you cuss. So you smoke a cigarette. So you smoke a joint. So you had a beer. So you were emotional last night and you got angry and went off on your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Now become aware of it. You don't like that behavior because the next day you wake up and it's like, oh God, I feel so bad now. I can't face that person. I can't believe I did that. Forgive yourself and have the courage and strength to face yourself. Yeah, I did that. Own up to it. Take responsibility. Yeah, it wasn't a good thing to do. But I'm not going to dwell on it for the rest of my life and beat myself up over it. There's no such thing as falling. There's no such thing as failure. Those are labels. Those are definitions. And yes, we have to neutralize and let go of the memories. Why do you want to overwrite the memories in your Akashic records? Why wouldn't you? Why not let those memories go and replace them with memories of the joy and peace and happiness? Nobody's doing anything to you, for you, as you, of you, but you. But you are 7.8 billion yous. Because when it comes down to it, if you were meant to be alone, sweet ones, there wouldn't be 7.8 other replicas, holographs, fragments of yourself. So that should tell you you're not alone. Because you are the universe and the universe is you. That statement in and of itself indicates that you are not alone, but also indicates that you are alone. And that everybody is you. Life is a parable and an allegory in and of itself. Everything you do, everything you live, everything you say is a parable and an allegory in and of itself. Everything's interconnected. Okay, so you don't have that awareness. So that doesn't make sense to your logical mind. That's okay. Even if you're not on a spiritual journey, even if you're not aware, awakened, and you're still a sheep or asleep or whatever other label they want to give you, that doesn't mean that you cannot extend kindness. Doesn't mean that you have to judge just because they're asleep. It doesn't mean that you can't extend love to them. It doesn't mean that you see a stranger suffering in the airport or on the side of the road that you can't stop and say, hey, I'm here to help you. Because you've been that lonely person that's been homeless. You've been that broke person. You've been that one begging and begging and begging to God. Because that's when everybody turns to God, is when they are broken. And they're desperate. That's when you surrender. I was telling a girl this yesterday. How many times have you been helped out of the blue after you've broken down and prayed to God? And miraculously something or someone shows up, a trucker pulls up when you're hitchhiking in the cold and picks you up. I just had a feeling that you were okay to stop and pick you up. That's how spirit works. I was telling a couple people yesterday, take yourself back to the poetry of Footprints in the Sand. And if you're not familiar with it, Google it and read it. It states in there that Jesus says, well, when you were going through hard times, I carried you. Let me tell you guys something, sweethearts. Yeah, I am going to tell you. Take it for what it is. And the only time there is ever two sets of footprints is when you choose, consciously or unconsciously, you choose to suffer. Because in every given moment, there's always ever only one set of footprints. And why is that? Because you have surrendered to the Creator. You have surrendered to the unknown and the unseen and the uncomfortable and the unfamiliar in absolute faith and trust. Because your spirit inside of you tells you, I've got you, you're protected, you're safe, it's okay. Your spirit carries you in every given moment. So Footprints in the Sand is as beautiful as it is written exactly how life in the physical has been experienced, inverted. You want the truth to anything, look at the polarity. Because the programming you've been under has been inverted. Excuse me, it's been one of inversion. It's why your eyesight inverts everything through the optic nerve. You want the truth to anything, look at the inversion, look at the polarity, look at the opposite. And I don't care if that your education, your government, your religions, your parents, it doesn't matter if all of them tell you you're wrong. You want the truth. Look at the polarity. Because that's where you're going to find the truth of you. So it doesn't matter what the world dictates, unless you allow it to dictate your emotions. And as long as you allow the outside world to control your emotions, whether that is a memory, whether that is your girlfriend or your boyfriend cheating on you, whether that's you putting up with abuse, of being taken advantage of, whatever it may be. When it comes down to it, one is either going to help you exist, and one is going to help you live, come alive. And that's really what your spiritual journey has been about. That's really what any life experience has been about. What is going to keep you stagnated in that which seems familiar, that which is comfortable, no matter how painful and hurtful it may be to you? You're going to continue to crucify yourself and put yourself on a cross. You're going to continue to sacrifice yourself and call it love. And that's okay. Because that's what you need right there in that moment. Because in every given moment, your spirit is carrying you. Oh, sure, there's times when you don't let spirit carry you. You don't let yourself carry you, your inner guidance. You allow the outside world to carry you, and that's when you see two footprints in the sand. Two sets of footprints in the sand. But in every given moment, there is only one set of footprints, and that's because Spirit has you and carries you through it. Most times you only recognize it when you're emotionally distraught or in desperate need. So sweet ones, live. And stop judging yourselves. So you broke down. You went out and got drunk. Or you erupted because these energies are really creating a lot of things to come to the surface. You're living Judgment Day every day, sweet ones. And yes, these 3 days you're going to be going through a whole lot, because energetically and factually, we're in an ascension process. And being aware of that aspect of it, yes, is very beneficial. Because you're able to know what's going on through different lenses. To those 7 plus billion that are not awakened, they don't have a clue what's going on. And they're still in the space of where you used to be, or we used to be. Of feeling lonely, feeling isolated, feeling like we're doing something wrong. In every given moment, everything is perfect. Now, it may not be perfect to your human mind, to your human logic, to the human aspect of us. But in every given moment, everything is perfect because it's perfectly what you need to experience right then and there. And it's only up to you to see through it so you can change the feelings. You want to predict the future, sweet ones? Seriously. You want the human aspect to be able to predict the future without going within? Pay attention to your emotions. Your emotions will tell you what's coming in every given breath. And when you can control your emotions, then you have conquered the world. You have conquered everything. Because when you can control your emotions from reacting, from responding, from making your decisions, from dictating your life, from keeping you prisoner, you will set yourself free to live again, to trust again. Your heart can never be broken. It's your mind that convinces you that there's pain. The fifth dimensional harmonic frequencies, there is no pain, sweet ones. So, you're going to feel pain in every day of your life. You're going to feel hurt, betrayal, abandonment, rejection, denial. Until every memory of pain and hurt in your mind is neutralized and zero-pointed. Because the planet ascended 5 years ago. You have been, time stood still. For 5 years, up until the winter solstice of 2000, of last year actually, I'm not even going to give it a year, last year, you were in a 5-year stasis. That's why it felt like Groundhog's Day. We came back from the future to rewrite the past. Yes, I keep repeating that for a purpose. Because it supports the inner wisdom of what is going on with ascension. Humanity now has come out of that stasis into a whole new reality of harmonic frequencies and an octave and a bandwidth, a whole new one. So, yes, the last few months have been intense. They've been intense because you have to face everything that your mind has convinced you is hurtful and painful. Yes, there are many that are not in that awareness. Is that okay? Absolutely, that is perfectly okay. You don't want us all the same. You don't want our personalities all the same. You don't want our skin color all the same. It's not what we're here for. And that's where we have been, if you look, and it's again why we're not strangers. We've all been subliminally programmed to be robotic, to be unfeeling, to be emotional rather than feeling. So, don't be so hard on yourselves. And live. And pay attention to what makes you come alive. And what makes you not come alive. That's all you gotta do. Pay attention to what makes you happy. That what makes gives you butterflies. Or what makes you sad. You know? If that person makes you sad, see it beyond the personality. And really observe thyself. Why does it make you unhappy? Why? It's okay to ask yourself why. Everybody out there says don't ask why. No, ask why. And leave the how and the when. Surrender that to Spirit. Because Spirit will carry you. But ask yourself why. Not when, where, what, and how. But why. And to ask yourself why from many different angles will show you truly where you're still chasing sadness and where you're still chasing happiness. And when you stop chasing, sweethearts, and just live, you're going to be happy. You're going to be blissful. You're going to be giving. You're going to be helpful. You're going to be more gracious. So it doesn't matter what other people are doing. Because those other people are just you. They're showing you yourself of where you're still chasing happiness and chasing sadness. And where you're living in a box and not living at all. So dance, sweet ones. Don't get so caught up in spirituality and ascension and this, that, and the other that you forget to live. You're here on this plane of existence to experience what? Life. You can't experience it when you're so afraid to get out of that which seems stable, secure, comfortable, and familiar. That's the box. Maybe maybe government should put a rule in that we can only live in tiny houses. That way everybody's forced to get out into the world and live, rather than exist. I was just being funny. But think about that analogy. If you lived in a tiny house, you wouldn't want to stay in it and hide and get comfortable in it because you'd feel crowded. You'd get out in the world and you would live and you would experience life. So use that analogy. Instead of your mind being the universe, allow your mind to become a tiny house and allow your heart to become life. And you will be happy. Alright, I got a guidance call. I got 3 beautiful goddesses waiting for me. I love you guys. Have a magical, magical day. And know, everything is perfectly okay. Don't judge yourself. Come alive and live. And let everybody else live too. And just be there, stranger or not. Extend your hand. Because even in the most tragic of humanity's tragedies, it don't matter if you're enemies, friends, or foes, lovers, it don't matter. In tragedy, it shows the heart of humanity. Because we set aside our differences, we put down our opinions, and we reach out to each other. And we extend love and kindness and giving. Live your life by that, not by spirituality or a galactic or a guru or this, that, or the other. Live your life with the mindset that everything is a tragedy, and because you have the mindset that everything is a tragedy, you're willing to extend your love. Or look at everything as love and that there's just tragedies there giving you up, however you need to look at it. But it is in tragedies that we come together, so why can we not change that? And instead of the only time we come together as a world, as a globe, as a community, or anything else, why does it take a tragedy? Why does it take judgment? when every moment we can set down our opinions and our judgments, those swords that stab everybody in the back. We can set it down. And we can dance with each other in every moment. It don't matter in that tragedy. It don't matter that you're a Mormon or that you're black or that you're Muslim or that you're gay or that you're lesbian or that you're married or that you're single. It don't matter if you wear your pants to your ankles or your bra on your head. Because in that moment, the only thing that matters is helping each other. And that, if nothing else, you do nothing else in your life except extend that love and that grace and that forgiveness. Because when there's a worldwide tragedy, any kind of tragedy, it doesn't even have to be worldwide. Because when there is a tragedy, nobody sees skin color. Nobody sees politics. Nobody sees nobody stops and asks a dying person that their leg is bleeding death. Oh, are you Republican or Democrat? What is your religion? That's going to determine if I'm going to love you or help you. We don't do that. And that is how we need to live. Individually, collectively, as a humanity, rather than waiting for a tragedy to open our hearts, to live with our hearts open every day, to be accepting and giving. So you want to know the remedy, sweet ones. Look at the tragedies. You want to know the answer, you want to know the truth. You want to know the answer, look at the question. You want to know the truth, look to its contrast, look to its polarity, look to its opposite. You want to know the secrets to life, I just gave them to you. And if you live by nothing else, live by your heart. You don't need me or anybody else to tell you that. All you need is to realize that you have 7.8 billion people outside of you in this world that's ready to dance with you. If you stop judging yourself and stop judging them. They're willing to extend your heart even if they're scared or you're scared, this, that, or the other. They're willing to take a risk and a dare. They're willing to open their hearts. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't came on social media. They're just as lonely and desperate as everybody. And they're just as grounded and wise and mature as everybody. One can't be more wise or more awakened or more asleep or more dumb, because we're all the same. That's all just judgments. When we stop judging ourselves, we'll stop judging others. When you stop judging others, you'll stop judging yourself. Carolyn, there's nothing trying to break you but yourself. Yourself is trying to become yourself. The only, and this is why we say Saturn transiting my Neptune is trying to break me, Carolyn says. No. Yes, that is telling you and showing you energies that are present, that are triggering things in you, that are showing, having things come up to present themselves to you, but it's not trying to break you. Your spirit is trying to break your ego, to break your mind programming, to break your thought patterns. No one or nothing is trying to break you, hurt you, harm you, destroy you, attack you, steal your energy, or anything else. Those are all thought forms. The thought that there's an energy vampire was put out there because somebody said it to be true. So guess what? Now we have 3 million light workers that are attaching to the so-called thought, idea, concept that there's an energy vampire. So now we have 3.5 billion awakened spiritual souls that now have attached the idea, the thought, that there's energy vampirism. So now they're focusing all their energy on that. So guess what has brought that into reality? Come on, guys. Wake up to your thoughts. Because there is nothing real until your thought attaches to it. Absolutely, Carolyn. Many hard lessons. And really, the hard lessons you guys have already been through. You've already experienced them. And right now, you're just experiencing the memories of them coming back up. For you to relive it so you can recreate it into something more beautiful. Because you don't want the hurtful memories of your past. Truly, you don't. Because you're tired of living in the past. And your spirit, your consciousness is screaming out and begging, please take me out of this box that you insist I be in. Why do you have to keep judging? Why do you have to keep chasing it when I'm all right here? Just break your shell and let me out. That is what is occurring, and that's why everything seems like it's trying to break you. It is. It's trying to break your thought patterns, your concepts, your ideas that truly don't fit you, that keep you in a box. It wants you to get out of your mind and into your brain. Because your brain knows that it's limitless. It's only your mind that keeps you limited. Your brain is trying to tell you, hey, there's 95% more of me that you're not using. Please use me. That's your higher self, your heart and your brain together. The above and the below. You know, that's what's trying to break out. You've given birth. You're a chicken that gave birth to an egg. It just so happens that you're inside the egg that's trying to break its shell out, guys. So, Carolyn, beautiful, may I encourage you to not even label them as hard lessons and truly make it impersonal and just see it as energy. Take away the personality and the storylines, guys. Take away the labels and definitions. Okay, this is an experience. I'm not liking it very much. You know, yeah. I'm not liking this one bit at all. But okay. Since I don't like it, what can I do to make myself like it? Accept it so I can change it. You're in control of your destiny. You're in control of your fate. And you can either allow that control to be controlled through your emotions or through your heart. Your emotions in your mind or your heart in your brain. And right now, you can liken it to Judgment Day that your religious texts all talk about. Because Spirit is right there saying, your spirit within you is right there saying, ready or not. It don't matter if your human aspect's ready or not. We're breaking out of the shell. You can make it hard or you can make it easy. It's up to you. But I'm done being in a box. So, you know, dance, sweet ones. What's John saying? In this time loop, we are re-experiencing 82 to 84, which was just prior to the 86. Exactly, we are rewriting history. And that's exactly what we're doing. John, that's right. John and I had this conversation a while out. Break out, that's right. That's what we're here to do. We've exited out of the time loop ethically and energetically. And right now, your spirit wants to break out of the shell of your mind and expand into the limitlessness, the immortality, the eternity-ness of its brain. So dance, sweet ones, and break the shell. If you're in something that's comfortable, stable, secure, and familiar, and that gave you comfortable stability, familiarity, and security and safety in the 3D, guess what's going to be broken out of the shell? Nothing can stay the same because everything in the 3D aspect of it was inverted. So guess what's breaking apart? Because the 5D frequency, harmonics, bandwidth, octave, whatever label you need to give it. New Jerusalem, New Earth, whatever label you need to give it, is exactly the opposite. And it has no room for hurt and pain. So right now, especially the next 48 hours, 60 hours, you're going to be feeling that breaking of that shell. And you're going to feel isolated, and you're going to feel hurt, and you're going to feel angry, and you're going to feel like all of this, everything was a lie, was the truth. You don't know confusion. You don't know what is truth, what is lie, and that is where you're going to have to individually. And yes, you have to do this. Because if you don't, you're going to make yourself go crazy. You have to truly know within yourself that you got this. That you can trust yourself to get through anything. And that you are not alone. So sure, I may be a stranger on Facebook. What the fuck is this lady saying? And no, I'm not judging myself for cussing. You want to judge me? I bless you. But I may look like a stranger. But there are no strangers. Because we've all suffered. And we're here to show each other how not to suffer no more. And we can only do that together, hand in hand. So let's dance. I love you, ladies. I got 3 goddesses waiting for me on a call. Have a magical, magical day. Big, big hugs and blessings. And if you do reach out, a gal reached out to me yesterday and ended up blocking me because I was on a guidance call and didn't get back to her. And said, see, I knew you wouldn't listen. So have patience, sweet ones. I'm just one of us, but there's many others of us out there that can do the same thing. And no, I will get to you as soon as I can. But don't get so impatient that you throw yourself back into a space of nobody loving you, caring, wanting to talk to you. You know, the human mind wants answers and wants somebody to pay attention to them right now. I will gladly be there for you. Just be patient because other people need people to be there too, and I'm doing that for them too. I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.